At 67, Kevin Costner made a decision that shook the core of Hollywood, shattering television's biggest empire. His exit from Yellowstone in 2024 wasn't just a star walking away, it was the collapse of a $500 million juggernaut, the abrupt end of the most-watched drama on cable, and the start of a nightmare that cost everyone involved far more than they could have imagined. Behind the rugged Montana vistas, a different storm raged: broken contracts, creative wars, and a $100 million gamble that crashed in flames. Yellowstone was forced to end 3 seasons early. John Dutton was killed off-screen without Costner's knowledge, and the passion project he staked everything on became one of cinema's most crushing failures. This is the story of a man chasing his legacy only to lose it all to a system that devours its own dreams. When Kevin Costner first read Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone script in 2017, he saw something rare: a story that honored the American West with raw characters and dialogue sharp enough to cut through Hollywood's gloss. "I loved building that world," he said on the Rich Eisen show, his voice heavy with memory. "It came to me quietly, unnoticed, but I saw its potential: great writing that could become something timeless." That spark lit a fire, pulling in 15 million viewers per episode at its peak, spawning spin-offs, merchandise, and a Montana tourism boom worth hundreds of millions. Costner's John Dutton was the heart of it all, a patriarch whose strength and flaws mirrored the land itself. But by 2024, that love for Sheridan's vision had twisted into something far more tangled. Behind the scenes, a deeper drama unfolded. The man who embodied Dutton faced a brutal choice that would reshape his career and television history. "I wanted to do more than one thing a year," he told Eisen, a trace of frustration in his tone, a simple desire for any artist. But at 67, Costner wasn't slowing down, he was racing against time, chasing the most ambitious project of his life, Horizon, an American saga, a 4-part cinematic epic spanning 15 years of American history. This wasn't just another film, it was his Dances with Wolves reborn, a legacy-defining gamble to prove he was more than an actor, he was a storyteller. What fans didn't see was that Horizon had been burning in Costner's soul for over 30 years while he poured himself into John Dutton. Another story demanded his heart, a sprawling tale of the West's triumphs and tragedies. Through the Civil War's shadow, he felt time pressing. How many years did he have left to tell the stories that mattered? Yellowstone was a roaring success, but Horizon was his calling, a promise he'd made to himself decades ago. He thought he could balance both, but television's relentless grind clashed with the demands of a 4-film saga. Horizon wasn't one movie, it was a monumental undertaking requiring every ounce of his creative and financial reserves. He pitched solutions to Sheridan, hoping to align both dreams, but cracks were already forming. "1 season became 5," Costner recalled. "I had to pause to make room for my other dreams." What followed stunned even industry insiders, a rupture that rewrote the rules of TV history. To understand why Costner walked away from a surefire hit, you must grasp Horizon's weight. It wasn't just a Western, it was his life's work, a $100 million risk. He bankrolled himself. For over 3 decades, he'd carried this vision of a 15-year saga tracing the West's settlement. 4 interconnected films, each a thread in a larger tapestry, demanded not just his time, but his personal fortune, a bet that could secure his legacy or ruin his family's future. On one side was Yellowstone, guaranteed success, steady paychecks, and a character fans adored. On the other was Horizon, a dream that might not find an audience, but burned too fiercely to ignore. Costner didn't want to choose. He entered negotiations believing collaboration could save both, but Horizon's rigid timeline, location secured, cast assembled, hundreds waiting, collided with Yellowstone's unpredictable demands. "I had contracts with people I couldn't break," he explained, frustration seeping through. Sheridan needed his star for long shoots and rewrites. Costner needed freedom to chase his vision. 2 storytelling philosophies crashed, and the fallout was inevitable. Trouble brewed in early 2023, whispers of discord leaking into trade publications. What began as scheduling gripes between Costner and Sheridan grew into a fracture of the creative partnership that built Yellowstone's empire. Sheridan, the show's visionary, had crafted John Dutton around Costner's gravitas, but now his star was stretched thin by personal and professional burdens. His divorce from Christine Baumgartner played out publicly. His parents' deaths in 2021 lingered, and Horizon's financial weight loomed. The man who seemed untouchable as Dutton was grappling with human limits. The breaking point came during talks for Yellowstone's final season. Contract disputes with Paramount and Sheridan turned a potential triumph into a stalemate. I was struggling to lock back in, admitted Luke Grimes, who played Case Dutton, capturing the cast's disorientation. Without their anchor, both men were justified. Sheridan needed reliability to preserve the show's quality. Costner needed space to birth his dream. In another world, they might have bridged the gap, but Hollywood's pressures made compromise impossible. The numbers tell a gut-wrenching tale. At its peak, Yellowstone drew 15 million viewers per episode, a feat unseen in modern TV. It spawned spin-offs, merchandise, and a Montana tourism boom worth hundreds of millions. Costner walked away from it all not out of apathy, but because the system forced a brutal choice. He'd sunk millions into Horizon, a project that couldn't stall without catastrophic loss. Paramount faced the collapse of their crown jewel. Horizon's first chapter tanked, earning just $38 million globally against a $100 million budget. Its second installment, set for August 2024, was scrapped entirely. A humiliating retreat. While Horizon floundered, Yellowstone's final episode, shot without Costner, still dominated ratings, proving the show could endure without him. The irony was brutal. Costner sacrificed a hit for a dream that failed, losing financial stability and tarnishing his reputation. Yellowstone was cut short 3 seasons early. Its sprawling narrative rushed to a close, leaving fans with a hollow ending. Spin-offs were axed. Montana's economy took a hit, and cast members faced uncertain futures. John Dutton's off-screen death without Costner's knowledge felt like a final betrayal. In late 2023, Costner posted an Instagram video, his voice heavy, explaining his exit. To fans, it wasn't just leaving a show, it was dismantling a family. The cast forged through Montana winters, shared bonds beyond the screen. Recording that video, redone a dozen times, was torture, an attempt to justify the unjustifiable. I still think about Yellowstone, he said. The series I love that you love. John Dutton wasn't just a role, he was a piece of Costner's soul, a blend of strength and vulnerability. He cherished walking away, felt like abandoning a part of himself. Staying, though, would have diluted both projects. Fans deserved more than a half-present star, but the final season aired without him proved the cost. I have no idea, he said when asked about Dutton's fate. His words stark: the show's heart was severed, and the magic built on the Dutton family's core faded. The deepest wound is this: it didn't have to end this way. On CBS Sunday Morning, Costner insisted he honored his Yellowstone contract, but contracts aren't dreams and dreams aren't commitments. He chose a 30-year vision over a cultural phenomenon, only to lose both. Horizon's failure halted its sequels, and Yellowstone's rushed in left fans bereft. The momentum vanished, the cast scattered, and the cultural moment past Hollywood's machine meant to nurture creativity crushed it, forcing Costner to pick between visions instead of supporting both. At 67, he was told dreaming big was reckless, that loyalty to one project betrayed another. His choice, meant to preserve his legacy, cost him the very legacy he sought. Yellowstone ended not in glory, but in regret, a reminder that even icons aren't immune to forces beyond their control. Was Costner right to chase Horizon, or should he have stayed with the show that redefined his stardom? Share your thoughts below.